Hey there, welcome to Module 4, Convert Your Audience to Buyers. Now, this may be you're thinking, well, finally, Bobby's going to talk to me about how to sell. Well, yeah, I am. Look, there's a reason why this is the last part of the Badass Online Marketing Framework. There's a reason why it's the last thing I'm talking about, which is because what I want to tell you is so many people in the space are talking about this already. This is all that a lot of people talk about is how to do this. It's like, get them to your world and sell them. Get them to your world and sell them. Get them to your world and sell them. And you hear people say that your job is to get people to buy and get people to make decisions and all that. I'm here to tell you that's actually not right. And what I want you to get is that if you do the other parts right, if you commit to lead an audience and do that work, and then you take the time to connect with your people and you do that right, this is the easiest part of building an online business. And that's going to sound crazy because a lot of people struggle with selling mightily. And the reason why they struggle with selling is because they're trying to sell to a cold audience quickly with nothing there behind it. And doing that's hard. I'm going to be honest with you. That's not going to be easy. But what I'll tell you is that's because there's a fundamental mismatch of people thinking that that marketing is about selling, and it's not. So this is a lesson where we're talking about now that you've got people, now that they're raving fans, how do you convert them and get them to buy? And it's not about gimmicks. It's not about tactics. It's not about any of that stuff. Now, there are some tactics that you'll ultimately want to use. There's no doubt about that. I have an email marketing course that includes things about how to write sales emails. There's stuff in there. You definitely may need some of that. But before we get to that, we're going to take a broad view. And that's what this module here is. What we're going to talk about is help you to figure out how does it all fit together? How do I need to think about converting my audience? So that's what we're covering. And it's 4 lessons after this kind of intro lesson. First, we're going to talk about creating a plan. How do you actually put the things? What are the elements you need to actually get people to convert, get people to buy, and how do they kind of affect each other? And how is it it's not like building blocks where you can pick anything from, group 1, anything from group 2, and anything from group 3 and put them together. No, they're kind of interconnected. And so we talk about that in that first, kind of the next lesson where we're talking about helping you create a plan. Then we're going to talk about the most important piece of conversion, which is creating the right offer. And this is something where a lot of people struggle because what they're trying to do is they're trying to sell something that the market doesn't actually want. We talked about that way back in Module 1. You heard me talk about that. A big part of being a marketer is figuring out what your audience actually wants and creating the right offer based upon that information. So we're going to talk about that in depth and think about, well, what is an offer? It's more than just a product and understanding how to put it all together. Now, I'm not going to talk about how to figure it out. We've already talked about that. By the time you get to here where you're trying to convert your audience, you should already know what they want. You should already know what offer is right. And this is why I'm saying, if you did commit right and you did connect right, you know what offer your audience needs and what they want, and you can actually create the right offer. Now, after you create the right offer, the next piece is to figure out your messaging. This is figuring out how do you communicate the value of that offer to your audience. And again, I want to stress here, this is not about gimmicks. It's not about creating FOMO. It's not about getting people to buy at all costs. It's about communicating the value so that people in your audience can make the right decision about whether they should buy or not. For some people, the answer is no. The idea, though, is if you're communicating what your solution is and what it can mean for them, and you do that right, over time, people will make the decision that, yes, now I'm ready for this, and they will buy. But so we talk about all the pieces of messaging and what you need to get across to people so that they understand and then they can kind of put it all together. Then the final lesson is about building your funnel. This is about how do you then kind of construct the path that people will come on to ultimately buy from you. I'm going to explain to you why what most people are teaching you in this space, it's okay, but it's not what mature businesses do. And how mature businesses actually get most of their sales is different from what most of the online marketing kind of orthodoxy is. I'm going to help you understand that because I want you to understand it, to have a goal. Even if you're going to use some of that stuff up front, I want you to have your vision to kind of have a mature business that is getting sales more like, businesses that have been around for a decade. And think through, how are they getting customers? I want to get customers that way because that's what we know is sustainable. So that's what you're going to learn in this lesson. Again, this is the last piece of this online marketing foundations. But I want you to understand, conversion shouldn't be hard. If you're struggling with conversion, it's probably a sign that you haven't done the commit and the connect phase right. Because if you've done those pieces right, all the things you're going to do here should actually be pretty stinking easy. So that's what I got in store for you. Jump into the next lesson where you'll start to create your plan for how you're going to sell your products. Enjoy.